Hello, and welcome to a Wednesday upload, first of all, and something a little different. I'm gonna be so for real. I just had a hankering to do puzzles, thanks to Signalis. And I know that we've got puzzles here. I've heard so many good things about this game. I have played it before, and I know that we draw lines. But I will say, I've only played it for, I don't know, a handful of hours. And my newest save was from like June of 2024, I believe. So the knowledge is not fresh. There are some things that occurred that I definitely do remember. Namely, that like there was a big silly Easter egg that I discovered, right? But for the most part, we're just gonna be kind of trucking through and discovering what we can. There's all these panels, all these lines to draw, and it's to my knowledge that we're just going to have to intuit the rules as we go along. So, I will be trying my best to talk through my thought process, and hopefully we can, we can learn all these things together. It's also a very quiet game, so I'm just going to kind of let it be that way, I think. This is large, but not entirely complex. Just kind of straight A to B. Now, if there's one thing that I do remember about this game, it is that it's incredibly open-ended, right? Like, there's not levels per se, and if I wind up, walking myself into something that's totally out of my league and I get stuck, we can walk somewhere else. This has 2 outputs, so that's interesting. Let's go with the upper one first, and we'll follow that and see where it leads. Actually, here's a question. Can I reset this? Does the output stay if I go to the other exit? Like, does that cable stay powered? It does not. Okay. Duly noted. We'll follow this cable then. But yeah, so if I wind up somewhere that's totally out of my league, I can... Oh, that cable leads to that. Okay, so I assume the upper cable probably leads into here? Question mark? No, maybe not. So maybe we leave the bottom cable powered and then open this puzzle and then power the other cables and then see where those lead. We'll figure it out. I keep getting cut off by the fact that thinking is really lovely and I want to do it. But yeah, we will have the power to sort of explore everywhere we want once we get into the game. Am I blind, or are we just like cut off here? Oh, there's 2 circles. That's what the problem is. I'm just silly. I'm just a goober. Loop it all the way around. And there we go. There's only 1 output. There's 2 inputs. And I was reading it backwards. And this is easy enough now that we have done all 3 of those. But now that we've completed those puzzles, let's go back to this one and set the power elsewhere, because I don't believe we need to keep that panel open now. And this leads outside, I'm assuming, to something that we will want to have powered. So we'll check that out. Eventually. This is such a pretty game, also. I do remember that. Can I, like... There's no jump button, from what I can tell. Looks like all we have is run and create lines. Okay. We have indeed opened a door. And through this door is a long and winding path. Look at those reflections, my goodness. This game, by the way, came out in a long time ago. I think I got it for free 10 years ago, and it had already been out for a while. So I'm gonna go ahead and say probably like 2014 or something. I don't know what I'm looking at here. This is a new rule. Just kind of like thinking about what this puzzle could be intuitively, it's probably the case that we need to draw a line that covers all of the hexagons before taking us to the exit. That did work. So I'm going to harbor a guess that that is what the hexagons mean. What are you? I don't know. I don't know what this arrow means, but I'm sure we will figure that out in due time. That doesn't work. Okay. That doesn't work due to some cause by the arrow. I guess it doesn't have to be an arrow. It is just an orange triangle. What if it dictates... Maybe a line can pass by that sort of cell, only moving in the direction that the arrow dictates. So, since we went up and then left, perhaps the arrow doesn't like that there's this line traveling in an upward direction. So let's head straight left past it and then to the exit. That does work. So I'm going to operate off of that logic if we see more arrows. We have more hexagons, but also more breaks in the path. Does our previous solution not just... No, this doesn't work. So, what do we do here? Let's see. We can never do this because then that leaves the top one untended to. Let me just observe for a moment. Those breaks are really put in the most inconvenient of locations, aren't they? Which, I mean, I suppose that's the intention. Okay, so like thinking about this rationally, there's always going to be two sort of like L shapes in the corners that are going to be occupied. And given the fact that we start from the middle, we're never going to be able to zigzag through like these 6 hexagons over here. We're never going to be able to do that because that immediately means that we can't have the L shape in the corner, by virtue of the fact that it removes this sort of connection over here. Which leads me to believe that we, like, start with one corner and then go through most of the puzzle and then finish off at the other corner, which I think is going to be the top corner. So let's say we go down and then we tackle this corner in the bottom right? Then I think we can zigzag up here and then loop all the way back to get this corner again, and then we get there. Okay, cool. And we're back here. Okay, so that was just a little detour for this panel, I suppose. I couldn't tell if that did anything when we interacted with it, but I suppose the fruits of our labor will be born in time. We can drop down here, it looks like. Do we think that we can go in that tube? That looks so enticing. I don't know if I want to drop down here, right? Oh, wait, can I drop down? Oh, no, I can't drop down here. JK. We have a... Wow. A very large door with squares and hexagons and 4 separate places that we can start and 3 separate places that we can end. No, 3. Wait. Yes. I am simply curious. I obviously don't think this is going to solve the puzzle, right? Does that line stay there? It doesn't. I was curious if what needed to happen was if we needed to fill like all endpoints with a separate like power source from each starting location on the grid. But I think I'm going to exercise the time-tested strategy of coming back to this later, because there's something happening here that I'm not yet aware of, and I certainly don't believe this to be the panel to tutorialize me for it, so we'll come back. We have some more hexagons here, though, and those are easy enough to manage, so manage them we shall. I like how these puzzles are on little, like, CRT monitors. Those are fun. Oh no, that doesn't work, because if we cross that little intersection, then we can never come back across it to get that one in the corner. So, how do we do this? We pretty much never go up past this corner. I think we just do it like this. We sure do. And you... we can never go up here, because if we cross this corner, that renders this unattainable. This little corner of the map basically doesn't exist. As does passing through here. I think we need to... Okay, wait a minute. Maybe that corner of the map does exist, right? It just doesn't exist in the sense that we come down from it. I do, in fact, believe it does exist, because I think we need to go all the way up and then come back down and around. This is why we don't write things off immediately. We have 2 places to start from here, which complicates things. Can we go through the starting location? We can. That just behaves as a normal line if you don't start there. That's good to know. If we start here... What happens if we start here? If we start here and go here, that's bad. I think that's losing, because we wind up in a situation where, like, these 2 hexagons on, like, diametrically opposed corners, I don't think can be attained, because we can't make a total square. So... And then if we go up, we would need to come this way, but that's, again, like, you have to choose a way to go, so I don't think we go up either. Maybe we start here. Because every way that I'm looking at this one, it seems like these 2 opposing hexagons are a problem. So if we start here, how does that change the way that we look at things? If we go up, we run into much the same problem that we did as, like, coming up. Oh, but we would have to go up, wouldn't we? Because we can't loop through. Oh, jeepers. Maybe we don't start here. Maybe I'm a fool. How do we manage this? Okay. So, like, the big thing that I'm hung up on, as mentioned, is these two hexagons. And the way that we would need to get them, like, in my thinking, is we would need either an L shape like this or an L shape like this. And how would we attain one of those two states? We could, again, come up here and loop around, but that oh, wait a minute. If we come up here and loop through this way, then we have that L shape, and we can come all the way back around. And that just takes us there. Okay. That was, I feel like I was missing that for a little bit, but we got there, so it's all good. um, we again are faced with these diagonally opposed hexagons, which I feel like are kind of prominently uh, observable in their own little like niche, because they will require some sort of thinking around, just due to the nature of the way that they can kind of like close each other off. Like if you take a straight line past that cell, then one of them is forever unattainable. They kind of need to be acquired in the same pass, so to speak. So with that in mind, is it feasible for it to be this sort of L shape? That would, I believe that would require coming up from this line here, which I don't think is reasonable. So if it's the other L shape, that could be acquired from just coming in from the top, right? So if we started here, we got this one. Let's just like sort of execute this in live action and think about it. Now if we start there, that is forever lost, right? So, oh jeepers. See, I knew this would be tricky, and I'm happy about it actually. Okay, the existence of this starting point here in the top right is like curious to me, on account of the fact that like these two are so close to each other. This one feels very notable because it just gives you a place to start that lets you fetch this one on the far right side while still leaving this corner open to operate within. Um, and it makes me curious if that is the key. Yeah, no, I think that is the way that we do things. I think we come down here and we loop all the way down around the bottom, and we do in fact do this L shape, and we get there. Okay. I think that's our introduction to hexagons right there. We have acquired ourselves a thorough understanding of hit all of the shapes in order to complete the puzzle. I want to go there next after we look at these panels because that's very pretty. Here's the squares that we saw in the earlier panel. Is there any reason why this just doesn't work? No. Okay. Is there any reason why this just doesn't work? Yes. They're blinking kind of alternating. That works. Do we need to separate the colors? We do. That's an unfortunate thing to say, but I believe that we need all of the black squares on one side of the line and all of the white squares on the other side of the line, it looks like. And I'm, again, going to continue operating off that logic until it stops serving me. Because that definitely just seems to do the trick. Okay, that's interesting. If we loop around this way, that... Oops. That works, right? Yeah, okay. Okay. Ooh. So, can we make ourselves a little bastion here with these guys and then loop all the way around and just make like a little bubble for you? That definitely works. Okay. It's a little, you get to kind of like gerrymander the little squares, I think. Let's see. I think we kind of do similar, where we make ourselves a little offshoot here. And then, can't we just do this? Does this not just work? That just works. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I think we need to get creative with the empty squares here. I think we need to cut through the middle, and instead of sort of like pocketing the white squares, I think we need to just like carve through the black squares like this. There we go. Okay. So we do have a concrete understanding of how the white and black squares work, which means that in theory, we could solve the puzzle on this door back here. It is like enormous, right? So I won't sit here for too long because I want to keep exploring. But I also want to take just a moment to look at this real quick. So I'm trying to think about how best we would separate the white and black squares. And also, do we need to solve the puzzle on all 3 exits? Because previously the puzzles have had different effects for different outputs that you complete them at. The input seems not to matter, but the output does. So, that is something to think about. I don't think we ever start in this corner, also. Reason being that if we start here, we have to go one way, and then the other hexagon is permanently inaccessible. So I think we entirely write off that as a potential starting point. I think we also write off this as a potential starting point. Reason being that if we go up or down, we completely lose the ability to separate those squares or get the hexagon. If we go left to get the hexagon, we lose the ability to separate the squares, and if we separate the squares, we lose the ability to get the hexagon. If we start here, there's no way that I can conceive of to separate the white and black squares, so that means that we have to start from this one. And if we start from this one, that means that we have to go this way, because if we go any other way, then the hexagon is not attainable. And if we go this way, then we have to go up, because we can't get that hexagon if we go down. Is this just a giant puzzle of, like, process of elimination, right? I think it might be. And it does make me think that, oh, is there any way to manage those 2 hexagons in the corner? Because the way that I look at it, right, I was curious about if the different outputs did different things when you got to them. But I don't see a way for us to cover all of the hexagons and end in that top right space. Because if we come from this way, like there's no way to cover both sides of this square here and get into the corner. So I think that 2 of the endings are red herrings, and one of them is where we need to be. So with that in mind, this line that we have right here is currently forced. We have to make these movements. So what is the next one that we have to make? That's an excellent question. I think, okay, what if we drag ourselves up into this corner? Like, we will have to do this sort of shape at some point, right? And if we do that, then that means that white squares are forever on this side of the line. So let's just follow through with that and come through this way and then blockade these off. And then we would need to get the black square on the other side of the line, so we would need to go this way. And then we would need to come through here. And how do we deal with this hexagon? I think we just go through and then up, over, and then down, and then we're there. Okay, that looked a lot scarier than it wound up being once you kind of get there. And that's really cool to me. Well, it's like a little tree. How cute. A box. Can I do anything with you? Oh, yes I can. Well, that's a fancy box. Are you... You're not. Okay. I see. Okay. Should I be making note of that? Probably. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take a screenshot. Part of me feels like I should get some, I should have like a pen and paper, actually. I don't have one with me right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and like hope that I don't necessarily need one for the first session. But I absolutely am going to get one for future times playing this game. That's so cute. Okay. Is there anything else in here? I don't think so. So if we see a sort of honeycomb pattern like this, we have something to think about. And I guess that's just what we will take and leave. And now, I want to go over to the pink trees, because look how beautiful they are. Look at the bloom on everything. Is that little cloud there? It makes me think, like, because the clouds all occupy a very particular, like, physical space in the sky. And now that I've seen that little thing, it makes me want to keep an eye out for other things like it. Alright, what's your deal? There's one specific branch that only has one, like, oh, wait a minute. No, that doesn't, hold on. What am I looking at here? It's entirely symmetrical other than the fact that there's just one branch here. But that's not it. We're not looking for a difference. Is it to do with the tree in physical? It is, yes, because that has a broken branch and also follows the same sort of branch structure. So I would presume that we're looking for the one with the apple on it, which would be this one. And I would presume correctly. Okay. That's so incredibly cool. Is that this tree then that we're looking at? It is. So we're looking at the second set of branches and the second subset of that set and the left one in that subset. Boop. Okay. And you. I assume... Oh, it's all twisty. Is it? Is that the thing here? Is that where it's now kind of a matter of discovering what angle we're looking at it from? Because that... Is that a broken branch? No, that ends properly. Doesn't it? Does it? Are you broken? Maybe you are. You're broken. Okay. Okay. Yes. So that's the second set of branches, because it's just contorted. Like, we're perceiving it from our angle. It's the third one, But structurally, it's the second one, and it's the second subset of those branches, and it's the right one of that subset. Cool. Okay. And you are backwards? Is that right? Because that, yeah. Yes, correct. So we're looking at the third set of branches, the first subset, and the right one on that. Third set of branches, first subset, and the right branch. There we go. And now we're over here. There's no apple. Okay. There's no perspective kerfufflery, it looks like. Oh, but one branch. There's 4 branches missing off of the tree, and there's only 3 branches missing off of the panel. So is it safe to assume that the branch that is missing off the tree and not missing off the panel would have been the one to contain the apple? I believe that's what we're left to assume. Unless there's like a branch laying around somewhere with an apple on it, which is also possible. But regardless, the outcome is the same. Does that panel just connect straight to the door? I believe so. Apple. Delicious. That sounds actually so refreshing and delightful right now. It's a bunch of anatomical sketches. The nerves and an eyeball. Okay. The cardiovascular, the wonders of the cardiovascular system. Is there anything that we can interact with here? Can I draw lines on the heart? No, it doesn't appear so. I do know that there are some things that we can like draw lines on that aren't panels. I do recall. Oh, this is the broken branch that had the apple on it. That's very clever. That symbol is. I wonder if that symbol's going to be useful. I don't know if this is of use to us right now. Or at the very least, it doesn't mean anything to me at this moment, so I suppose for now we will carry on. Cool, cool. Let's keep exploring. There's a door here. Can we access you? No. The panel on you is off. Those panels are also off. This cable is running down here. Little boathouse. Can I go onto the boathouse? There's like stairs up there. Maybe not. Oh, perhaps I can. Hello? Hello? I don't know what I'm doing up here, but we are up here. I know for a fact something is going to happen with the reflections, right? Like, those reflections are too clean to know. Oh, there's a panel up here. Okay. We have more arrows. There's 2 arrows there. Which... Okay, that's really confusing. That immediately competes with the logic that I had, like, surmised earlier. Which was that the arrows meant that lines could only pass in that specific direction, because there's no conceivable way that we can only be moving past that square in a rightward direction. So let's just send a line and see what happens. That works, but I want to know why. Would it work if we came this way? It does. Okay. There's no way that that doesn't work then, to my knowledge. Unless, like, what if we came down this way? That works too. Now I just want to know. That works too. There's no way that I can see to fail this puzzle. So I'm not sure what the arrows mean then. But we'll leave that be. We don't need to understand that yet. But we will in due time, right? Things are pretty in there. Okay, let's actually go check out the boathouse proper then. Why don't we? I can't jump off that. I have ankles made of glass and shins made of more glass. Okay. What happens here? We have two... Oh, we have symmetry. Delightful. Okay. We have a bunch of funny vases? They all look like varying states of the same... Oh, they are opposed states of the same matter, aren't they? Like, the one on the... I'm mirrored, aren't I? The one on the left has a topmost section, and the one on the right has the rest on the bottom. And then the purple one on the left has the top and the bottom, and the green one on the right has the middle. I don't know if that's pertinent to us right now. This one is elevated, which is fascinating. I don't know that we can do anything with those just yet, but I have made an observation about them, gosh darn it, so you had better believe. I wonder if something else that we've done somewhere has raised this up, and perhaps our goal is to elevate all of them, because they seem to be on similar platforms. We shall see, in due time. In the meantime, what else are we doing here? Did I walk past a panel somewhere? No. That's not what we're doing. You are what we're doing. And this is just more symmetry, so that's plain and simple. This is more symmetry. Slightly less plain and simple. So we can't go straight into the middle because that's blocked on the other side. I think we go down and then up and then out to the sides and then up through here and then up the middle. This one is less, you know, I kind of have a little less to talk about because it's fairly straightforward. There's not really any rules to into it. It's just kind of like see the way that we go. Oh my goodness gracious. Holy. Okay. Is there a reason that we would start from one over the other? I do not know. But that just works, right? Can we do it again with the other, like, starting points? We go... I'm assuming that this is possible with both of them. We need to go out and then back in, and there we go. So I've done that both ways. I don't know if it does anything. You are presently unpowered, it looks like. There's a cable leading somewhere that we can't trace. I'm assuming we'll need to come back here at some point once that is powered to do something. A little sandcastle. But as of right now, I don't believe that we can do anything over there. So, okay, we have diagonal symmetry now instead of like vertical, orthogonal. I don't know. whatever you may call it. We have this and not that. Which again is like fairly straightforward from a rules standpoint. The goal with these is always get from point A to point B while making sure that the other thing can also get from point A to point B, which isn't quite as much a ooh, this is I fear I've done the wrong thing. It isn't quite so much a rules issue as it is just let's look at this and then execute it, right? I can use the right stick to switch between puzzles. I don't need to be exiting every time. But yeah, I mean, we're getting through it. Some of them are very interesting because, like, for example, with this one, I just looked at the left side. Some of them have a distinctly more inhibited side that you need to focus on getting to the end. This is all sorts of messed up, isn't it? I think this just works. Sure does. And where do you lead? Has that done anything in here? No. Okay. Oh, is this the cable? Yeah, this is the cable to the door. Okay. Okay. I'm excited. Obelisk? It's buzzing. I'll probably have to turn up the game audio for that, but it is humming slightly. Speaking of game audio, there isn't a lick of music in this game. And I kind of really like it. I don't know if I'm gonna put music in, actually. We have hexagons. Okay, so we have to start by moving this way. And we can't go through this way, so that means we have to go up. So we'll have to loop around. Ta-da! That is immediately barred off. Okay. Let's look around this area then. Yeah, I don't know if I want to add music because it feels very meditative, right? So are we combining rules here? Now we have symmetry and hexagons. That's fantastic. Okay. I love. And given that we have symmetry and hexagons, we need to think differently about which routes we take so that we ensure... Ooh, okay. Ooh. Okay. This kind of like... Okay. The thing that I need to kind of think about is just what if we cut it in half, right? And then folded it over each other. Because both of the paths have the same obstacles, so we don't need to navigate one in any particular way. We just need to make sure that we hit all of the hexagons. And so that means that there's essentially ghost hexagons on one side where they aren't, or where they exist on the other side. And that kind of makes things a little bit more comprehensible in my mind. That being said, okay. No, we can't do that because then if we do, oh my goodness gracious, goodness me. What if we just do, no, because that leaves this untended, doesn't it? Oh my. So we can't come up through here because that abandons this hexagon. We can't come up through here because that abandons this hexagon. If we go up, I think from here, there's no way to get both this hexagon and the one on the bottom path. If we go here, there's also no way to get both of those. So I don't think we go up. I think we do go this way. And if we go this way, we have to continue going, otherwise we abandon that hexagon on the bottom half. And if we go here, then what? This is where we start asking questions. We can't go here and then come back, because then we abandon this hexagon. We can't go here at all, I don't believe, which means that we have to continue forward. We can't go up, because then we abandon this hexagon. Unless we, yeah, we can't go up. Full stop. If we continue forward, then we like have to go up. But then life is bad. Maybe there is a flaw in my logic, because it's looking like, at least with the logic that I've talked myself through, no matter what we do at some points, we wind up in a situation where we can't progress, right? Okay, so let's think about some rules, right? If we're coming to the end, if we're coming to the edge of the board, we are always then turning towards the front, like towards the end. We can never go backwards at the top line of the board, because if we do, then we're stuck forever. Which means that this hexagon right here is always going to be a point where we cross upwards through it and turn right. Which means that we can never come from this way, because we would lose this one. So we have to do this sort of L shape here at some point. So how do we incorporate that is the question. How on earth... Oh, wait, are these hexagons different colors? No, it doesn't appear like... I mean, they do kind of look like they're different colors. Am I losing my mind? I might be colorblind, actually. Because when I got close to them, they all look like they're the same colors. No, they're slightly transparent. That's what the problem is. The ones that are in front of the sand are brown, and the ones that are in front of the water and the sky are blue. That's what my problem is. Okay, never mind. We're okay. I'm just like really truly exceptionally lost on how we get this hexagon and the hexagon on the top half at the same time without barring this one right here. I feel like no matter what we do, that winds up happening somehow. Like, I don't think that this is ever winning. Because if we make this set of moves to get us here, we're blocking something off. Because if we go this way, we're never getting that upper hexagon, because there's no way that we pass through it that doesn't just back us into a corner. And if we go this way, there's no way that we get that hexagon on the bottom half, because we can't, like, cross. No. So I don't think that we ever do that. Do we ever do this? Can we? Is that ever feasible? I don't think so. Yes, it is. We go this way, and then we go back up. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I had it so hard set that we had to turn up into the edge of the board and then go, as opposed to coming from the other. The rule applies inversely, I guess, is the part that I missed. Okay. So, I also, now that I am thinking about it, could be considering, like, what's the path that I could take to get all of the hexagons on one side, and how does that compare to the other side? But I don't know how actually useful that is. Anyway, we have sort of, like, inverse symmetry here this time. So let's just sort of, like... This is where I wish I could just bring them both into line, and see all of the, like, if I could visualize this perfectly, we would be having a lot easier of a time, definitely. I do acknowledge that a significant limitation of this is me, like, not seeing the puzzle well enough. But let's just, like, observe this for a moment. It honestly gets a little harder to think about with the inverse symmetry, because I'm looking at hexagons as if they're on the same side, when they're not truly. If we do this, then that kind of strands what's going on there. Alright, this, like, hexagon in the dead center down here feels like a little bit of a problem child. What if we come through this way? Yeah, no, that just gets us there. Okay. Cool, cool. Oh, this is fascinating. Okay. That was easy. Sorry, I didn't really think through that one. It just kind of, happened. That's okay. I see those panels up there, but is that... No, okay. They seem to power sequentially, so we'll do these then. We have colored hexagons. Oh. I see. So the opposing line of symmetry is yellow, and the one that you operate is blue. And I assume, I mean, just for testing a hypothesis, yeah, you can only power hexagons of a like color to your beam. So, fascinating. We just need to make sure that we get that yellow one while we go on our way to the exit. We have 4 exits here. And every time we have multiple exits, it does make me consider, like, ooh. Wait a minute. Well, wait. That's nasty, and I don't like it. Yeah, we have to start from here. It does make me consider... No, that's not right, because then that's never going to... Oh, wait a minute, jeepers. Oh boy, oh no. We have to consider if the multiple exits are multiple solutions, as in they're going to have multiple different effects like they did in the castle at the beginning of the game, or if they are just, like, some are attainable and some are not attainable. We do need to come down here for the yellow at some point. I think that's the only way to do it. But then... Wait, actually, why is that the only way to do it? Is there something stopping me from just doing this? No, like, absolutely not. Now, my question, I'm going to do the very same thing, but I'm just going to go through the other way. I don't know if that's changed anything, but we've solved it both ways now. And now we have monochrome hexagons as well as the colored hexagons. Do we want to start here? Is that something? I don't think so. I think we want to start here. And then we can... Nope. Do that. The proximity of the blue one to this exit, like, kind of makes me think that I want to start blue down here. Oh, we can't do that, because we need to get you. Oh, but then we can't do... Oh, geez. Okay. Let's do... Oh, no, now that hexagon over there is barred forever. Okay. Oh yeah, also we would have needed to start down here always because we need to get that yellow one in the top corner, and that's not achievable if the blue exists in the corner. So we need to start this way, naturally. You know, does this ever work? No, I don't think we ever cross to the other half. That we can't do. So we're gonna need to end, it looks like, with a little, like, whoop maneuver? Maybe? No. Do we? Can we? I suppose if we start like from up here, right, then we can do that little maneuver and then we can go through here and get this hexagon. So with that in mind, let's think about how we get the rest of the hexagons too. Can we go back down and then up and then up and then loop down? Nope, that doesn't work because we need... Why didn't that work? Hold on, let me look at it with my eyeballs. Because we need that corner clear to do the loop to get the hexagon at the bottom. So we go this way instead. Nope, we sure don't. We go this way instead. That's how we do it. That is a convoluted one. Look at how much real estate we used up. Oh, I love that the power cable is also powered by both yellow and blue. Are there... Oh, there is another panel down there. I was gonna... Oh. Oh yeah, we have more of these. I was gonna ask if there were other panels that we can operate. I thought that this went to the door, but it sure didn't. Okay. So... we once again are operating off of multicolored symmetry. Those hexagons up there in the top right are really talking to me. We can never cross in the middle naturally because we'll just bump into each other. So let's go like this. And then I think this is just... yeah. No. We missed one. I don't know how I missed that. Is there any way that we can sort of rectify that? How would we? If we go like... nope. This... no. I don't think that ever works, does it? Unless... nope, we can't do it from higher either because then this is here. So we have to go in this corner. This is just a must, right? Because we can never go from this way. Unless this is like the world's biggest bait of all time. No. No, there's never a world, I don't think, in which we can come from the right side and come down this corner because that cuts off... something gets cut off. Like, we lose our ability to get to this or for the yellow to... yeah, I just don't think that ever works. I'm not doing a particularly fantastic job of explaining it, but I believe that we will always need to come up from the bottom and go right, which leaves us here. Which means that we have to come down here. And if we come down here, then what? Like, this is like the obvious choice. But it leaves us a little trapped, doesn't it? Unless we come all the way around. Can we do that? No, because that blocks off the exit. Shoot, shucks, darn. Unless... no, that still doesn't work. I'm really getting, like, drastic with my thought processes here. Okay. So, yeah. I do think we need to come down here. I feel like this little hook that we have is, like, a guaranteed start at present. At least until I've thought about it a little longer. It's possible we may discover that's not true. But for now, I'm going to observe it from this state and consider what our options are. You know, I've been starting by going up, but why don't I start from going down? Because then we can get this one early, and then cross symmetry. And we can follow, oh, no, that doesn't work. This way. And that just does it. Yeah, okay. It was not, in fact, a guaranteed state. And that was only the first puzzle of this sequence. That one kinda had me thinking for a little while. So let's see here. We have all paths available to us. There's nothing broken. There's a lot of yellow. Um, and given the, like, proximal state of, like, these yellow hexagons in the top right corner, I'm kind of led to believe that that's where we're going to end for yellow. And that could look like any number of things. That could look like this, or actually maybe I'm just a big stupid liar with it looking like any number of things. Because, no, it could look like this as well. But I believe that we would need to wrap around that little box up there in the top corner with yellow. And that would mean that that's the end of things. Like, there's no way to cover both of those and then leave the ending open. So, with that in mind, let's think about how to get the other yellow hexagons first. So let's start by getting this one and use our, like, similar logic of, like, crossing symmetry early. Oh, no. But we need to leave a lane open for the yellow to cross back over, because it needs to end on the top half. Interesting. Okay, that's incredibly interesting. That's this one here. Okay. 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 Let's go straight up this time, and then we'll come down here, and we'll cross it back over this way right now, and then I think that's just it. Yes. Okay. The main thing to understand there was that we would need to kind of polarity switch both of them and ensure that they had the space to do so. This is interesting. Okay, we have, like, diagonal symmetry again. This feels like the obvious one to, or not the obvious one, but it's like the one that the mind wants to start at with the blue, because all of the blues are here. But I think that means that it's the one that we end at. Is there any reason that this doesn't just work? No. The yellow's getting significantly more faded with every puzzle that we solve, and I kind of don't like that. Oh, is it just... I see. It's steadily introducing the fact that we are going to be blind. I think that covers the yellow hexagon. Yeah, okay. Fantastic. Okay, so these are diagonally symmetrical, which means that we want to go down this one to get the yellow. But then... Oh, that's tricky, isn't it? That yellow is in a really... Because, like, I'm assuming we can't... Yeah, we still bump into it. It definitely still physically exists. So... Okay. Getting that blue up there... Is that irritating? No, that's not irritating at all. That's incredibly easy. I don't know what I was on about. Fascinating. Okay, the blue straight up doesn't matter. We are just, like, operating an invisible line here. And given the location of this one, that basically means that we have to end blue here, right? So we're just looking at... Essentially, we're just looking at an invisible line with We're looking at an invisible line with visible hexagons, and we're operating our line trying to hit those invisible hexagons on our level of diagonal symmetry. Which means that there are hexagons there, and here. So we just need to go like this, right? Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Oh, I wanted to go down, yeah, down here. There were panels. Yeah, functional ones. The reflections. I knew it. Do we want to, like, make respective shapes out of the things? But, oh, that's so cool. Did that do something? I heard something in my left ear. I don't know what that was. And this one is obscured by the tree, but we can see it via the reflection. And this one is obscured by the rock. How clever! I actually love this so much. I don't think I could possibly put into words how excellent of an experience this is. Now, what is your deal? Am I meant to position myself such that I have a puzzle to solve? Like, if I stand here, right? Then I've got a similar puzzle. That seems to have worked. I don't know what that's about. Is that a red herring? Or maybe there's another way to solve the puzzle with it? I don't know. We've got it solved for now. We'll come back later, maybe. This is interesting. Are we just operating off of, like, the tallest height? Or, like, the furthest outstretched one? It would appear so. That tree is broken. Rip. Am I looking from the wrong side now? Oh yeah, we're using the tree. Like this? I think that feels right. So we go down around that, and in, and back out, and very out. I think it's interesting that your cursor moves at a constant rate across the screen, so when you're closer to a puzzle, the line moves slower. Actually, come to think of it, can I increase that? We'll turn subtitles on. No one has said a thing yet, but perhaps one day. Where did that have a cable going somewhere? No, this was kind of like the last puzzle in the line, wasn't it? Okay. Let's head back up. I'm assuming that one of the puzzles that we've just done has opened the door. Surely. Yes. Not opened the door, but allowed us the privilege of opening the door. And this one is quite simple. Is there anything on this ledge? Yes. Can I touch you?
One nature, perfect and
It's a
pervading,
good thing I just turned on
circulates in
subtitles.
all natures. One reality, all comprehensive, contains within itself all realities. The one moon reflects itself wherever there is a sheet of water, and all the moons in the waters are embraced within the one moon. The absolute of all the Buddhas enters into my own being, and my own being is found in union with theirs. The inner light is beyond praise and blame. Like space, it knows no boundaries. Yet it is even here, within us, ever retaining its serenity and fullness. It is only when you hunt for it that you lose it. You cannot take hold of it, but equally you cannot get rid of it. And while you can do neither, it goes on, its own way. You remain silent, and it speaks. You speak, and it is dumb. The great gate of charity is wide open, with no obstacles before it. Young Cha Tashi, circa 700.
Okay. I did mention how meditative this felt, but this is only adding to it. Now, what are we looking at here? There's noises from inside, that's for sure. I'm assuming what happens here is similar to the symmetrical line puzzles, except I have to essentially memorize this puzzle and then execute it on this puzzle. So we go like, how mirrored is this? Yeah, it's just straight up. Okay, so we will go up and then left at the top and then back down to the bottom, and then we will go left again, and I think we will go all the way to the top. No, because the ending is there. So I think we need to get those two near the top at the end, right? So we go up, left, back down to the bottom, all the way over to the side, all the way up to the first intersection past the broken dead end. And then we go right inwards to that inner corner, then up, left, up, and then to the end. Just like that. Wait. Wait, is that not? Oh. Oh, well, maybe that is actually the case, but I just, we have to solve them both separately. Okay. Cool. So I don't need to like fully visually solve it before executing. Let's see here. This one kind of like jumps out at me. The hexagons near the end are always like tricky. I think this is quite simple. I think we go right here, down, then up to the top, over the top, and then down and through. Right. So we need to do that, but backwards on the other side. So we need to go in one, all the way down to the bottom, beside one, all the way up to the top, loop around, come down, and then go to the ending. I'm just gonna like kind of try to execute that, which I think that should do. Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. This is the only starting point that doesn't have two adjacent hexagons, which means this is the one that we have to start at. And it also obligates that we move inwards this way. I think all of these actually obligate moves, which means that it's incredibly simple to do. We just need to make a sort of like EKG graph out of our line. Which should be simple enough to like relay into the other one. We just go in and then down and then up and then down and then yeah. Ba 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 da 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 da. This way. Not correct. So not right. Did that? Hey, how come you shut off? I'm scared. Oh, do I have to like go do this again? Yeah. Right. I go down and then up through. Oh, I'm like scared actually now. Have I ruined this forever? Surely that's not the case, right? Surely that's not the case. I'm so scared. Okay, no, we just have to repower it. Okay. Okay. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. So, we go in, down, up, in, down, in, up. In, down, up, in. No, that's why, because I'm getting, wait, is that why? Am I getting my ups and ins, or my ups and downs reversed? No, that doesn't matter. The down is symmetrical. The up and down is symmetrical. What am I getting twisted? Oh, it's not, it is. My ups and downs are reversed because the ending is on the upper half of that board and it's on the lower half of the other board. So I need to go up and then down and then up and then in. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I go up and then down and then up and then in. That slipped my mind the first time. I didn't notice that the outputs were not in the same place. And now we get to open this big box. Presumably? Yes. Oh. Uh that's a little beyond what I expected. Is that like a laser cannon? What have I done? Do you do anything? I see. It is a laser. Okay, well. Okay. Very cool. That being said, I feel like I could play this all day, right? But this feels like a nice place to end for today. I'm gonna keep it, you know, succinct today, because I'm kind of playing around with this idea. I don't know if I'm gonna be recording for every Wednesday. I don't know if we're gonna have ourselves our little Witness Wednesdays. But I was really hankering to do some puzzles, and I was kind of flirting with the idea. So, definitely a possibility. Obviously, if any of y'all out there are digging it, please do let me know. Cause wow, I sure am. This is fantastic. But for future iterations, potential future iteration, there's gonna be future iterations. I shouldn't say potential. We might run longer. This is going to be a different thing. This is gonna have a different vibe. There's no music. I'm not sure how much I'm going to edit down the puzzles. I'm not sure how much I'm going to edit up the puzzles, right? So I want to make sure that this is something that I can grasp, that I can get a hold of before I commit to like a 2-hour long episode. But we sure might have really, really long forays into this game in the future. So I do hope that you have enjoyed it, and maybe next time we'll, I'm really intrigued where that laser is going. And there's so much island. Like, that's incredibly far away. Look how far that has gone. And, you see that mountain? You can climb it, I bet. So next time we might track down the end of that laser and see where it's, like, headed to. I'm not gonna lie, it feels like it might be an end game thing, like turn on all the lasers so that they go and coalesce into this place, and that's where the game ends. But it also might just be leading us somewhere, and there's only one way to find out, right? So we'll check that out next Wednesday and see what's going on. But in the meantime, I hope you've had a great time sitting here solving puzzles with me, because golly, I sure did. And I imagine they're only gonna get more and more obscenely abstract and difficult. Like I said, I think the most that I had like solved on my save was like I think I had like 60 something panels completed, which honestly we might even have right now. Let's see. Are these all? Oh no, I had 107 panel. Oh yeah, that was the one that I was on when I started the game up to start a new game. Okay, so we do, in fact. I've solved 107 panels in total, historically at some point in time. We're up to 75 now. So we're literally already encroaching on the amount of panels that I had solved previously. And this feels like just barely scratching the surface. So I'm eager to dig into it more. In the meantime, I really do hope that you're having a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, or what have you. Thank you for sitting in with me, and thank you for sitting in till the end, especially. And take care of yourself. Please be patient with yourself, and stay cool out there. I hope it's cooling down for you. It's cooling down for me, and it's feeling kind of lovely. I'll see you next time. I love you. Deuces.